Good evening, traders. I've got a feedback. Let's kick that. There we go. Do that again. Good evening, traders. How's everybody doing? How was y'all's day today? Hope you all had decent days. I had a pretty decent day overall, I think. No complaints. Definitely wasn't perfect. Could have traded better at certain spots. But I was happy with my day and how I did, and some of the things I thought everything was pretty solid overall. Had good price action today. And I actually want to talk about the morning and how we did, and the difference in yesterday and today. I didn't trade yesterday, so I'm going to Monday morning quarterback, as it were. Yesterday's open in comparison to today's open, which I did trade, and I was on the mic a lot, so we talked. We kind of went over that. And if you guys have any questions, nice, Robert. Yeah, but you came back from a little bit of a red day, if I remember correctly, which actually to me I look at as a positive, because let's say I was pick a number red, and I come back to green. That's a day the next day that I don't have to be green to get back to flat. So if I trade and I make a mistake and I go red and then I get flat, I'm like, no, this is good, because this just means tomorrow's green day isn't me flat on the week, it's me green on the week. What up, Dari? I miss doing these shows. In the last couple weeks or week or two, life has been crazy. All good things. Hey, Dari, Robert, Jess, you guys are the best. Let's do the best intro here. I know a lot of people have a lot of things. Not everybody has an intro. I have an intro. I need to play an intro on the morning shows. That's what I definitely need to do. Either way, let's kick this. Cheers, banditos. If you're wondering why we call ourselves bandits, it's because we take what the market has to give us pretty early, and then we lock it in. We're not sitting there, well, sometimes we are, but not necessarily trying to scalp all day, trying to do crazy things. We just take the money and run. I take the money early, and then I lock my day up. What up, Anya? How you doing? If you traded today, hope you had a good day. There's your last 45 minutes or so in Tesla. Just drawing a few boxes, and then I want to jump back and talk about the last two openings. And I actually need to go to Discord. By the way, links to T3, affiliate link that I have in the video description of this. If you're looking to sign up to trade with me, Geronimo, some of the other amazing traders that we have here, and you don't just want to do it in Discord, you want more information, more stuff, more overall market stuff, you hear me talking about them in the Discord. Link is there. What up, DB? Link is there, and you can click on that if you want to buy through that and sign up through that. It does support this channel, help me get better equipment and stuff like that. And if not, that's fine. But and then also the Discord link, which is free, is in the description of this video too. Let me go to something someone sent the other day. I want to pull this up because I want to come back to it. Here we go. So that's a plug. Also, same shameless plug. Like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff to the videos. Comment in the videos with questions that you have. It does help, and the analytics and all that, and get people to sign up. And we're at about 89. This is the 89th show, and I got to plan something special for the 100th show. Jess was telling me, so I don't know. I got to come up with something. If you guys have an idea of what you think I should do for the 100th show, let me know. I think a lot of people have, Anya. I think it's been a difficult market in many ways, and I don't think you're necessarily wrong if you're struggling. It's really, some of the price action has been slow, and it's been mixed, and it really takes a zoom out to see it, and patience. And with a lot of the splits happening, it just takes sometimes more time for these moves to happen, whereas in the past, Tesla, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you easily got paid. Right now, it takes time sometimes to let these trades develop. And when I've been on the mic, like in the meta short today and Tesla short here, this short on Tesla. Don't wake up, son. One of my kids are waking up. Like, I was on the mic talking through it, and that was the reason I was trying to give a lot of time when it comes. It has been hard, but I'm giving him a second to see if he wants to go to sleep before I go on my rant about the difference in this morning and yesterday. I might need to go put my hand on him. I could let him cry it out. Cry it out method, you know. It works with adults and with kids. But I think he might have had a bad dream or something. I'll be right back, like 2 seconds, guys, and then we'll start what we're going to go into. Oh, that's when it pays to have a guest host. Oh. All right, so that seemed to work. Just a little bit of dead as here. Rub the back. Baby goes to sleep. So let me throw this down here really quick. If you don't know what I'm doing, these are, this is a, what we call a Fab 4 box. Oliver Kelly uses it. I use it. Oliver Velez uses it. There's other people that do it too. I have another video on that if you want to know what this is. I just want to throw these up. All right, so let's talk. Let's kind of kick the show. Yeah, I missed part of it. I caught this here, and then and I called this one out, and then I was like, oh, my kids need to go to bed. I'm going to go help put them to bed during this pop, and I was going to look to short into the 8 or something, and then this happened, and I come back like right here, and I'm like, son of a gun. I pick the wrong time. But yeah, my last show was CT, and the show after him that I did after him, we talk about this box, and I use this box every day. I used to just use 2-minute high and 2-minute lows. I still do those, but I've expanded this, and I found these boxes extremely helpful. You do two of them what you want, but let's look at Tesla the last 2 days because this is going to be kind of the crux of the show. And y'all can ask questions or we can kind of take it wherever, but so the last couple weeks I'm practicing for the 5K challenge because I'm not just going to jump into a 5K challenge. I mean, let's be honest and be like, yeah, I just jumping straight into it, and I don't, I'm so used to hyper scalping that I just take certain trades. I need to figure out what I want to do and how I want to trade them. So let's have a cash and let's do a cash account and and then also switch back over, but let's see how we trade. So I've been practicing some stuff for that challenge, and I didn't trade this day here, so I actually missed this. But look, I want you to show, I'm going to try to talk through this and talk through what I'm thinking, because this is also what UpCon. I want to think through something that I'm doing for the master video. The video I'm going to put on my channel very soon that is like a description of what I do. And part of that is choosing what to trade early and how to trade it early. And you'll see it here a little bit yesterday. So yesterday, I wasn't here for this, so I'm Monday morning quartering back in this, so forgive me for that. But you have a name that was just running up, and we're just cherry picking Tesla, but I think Apple was one of the ones that y'all played too. And you have a nice, just from the instant straight buying. This is relative strength early. Now you had a gap down, probably somewhere near support or below it or whatever, but instead of continuing lower, Monday morning, Tesla just put in freaking green bar, green bar, green bar, green bar. You'd cut through every moving average. You put in a quick double top, little tweezer top, you pull back in, and of course we use fibs here. I'm sure I have a video on that. It'll be part of the master video. And you fib that once it starts pulling in, you let it digest, and then you buy the first 2-minute break. It hits the 8, you could buy on the 8, near the 21 as it starts ticking off 200, whatever you want to do. This is an example to me of relative early strength where you just play it and it works. Just looking at the chart, I didn't trade this, so I'm not going to be like, I could tell you what I would have done. I would have done this because you guys watch me do it every day. It's like, oh yeah, Tesla's really strong. Hey, we're putting in a red bar. Hey, I'm going to buy this. So on one of these two candles, I would have had a fib, taken a long, taken some off here, and then that would have been my target. I mean, that's pretty easy to see. And then there's your 168. So, and then it gets choppy. But, so we're here, and this works to perfection, as it were. You have just a crazy bullish sequence. As soon as the market opens, you get this rally going, and I think Apple was part of it. And these trades work. You just see them and you take them. It's like, in the pre-market, I was like, hey, Tesla's gapping down. It's at support. If we put in some nice igniting bars, I'm going to take a long, or I'm going to wait for it to come into the 21. If it just rockets through it, I'm going to look for a long, a pullback. All right, we're through everything. We're pulling back. We're into the 200 and the 8, and then we're going, all right, I'm in. Something like that. And you see that taking place and it works, and you're like, bam, there's my day. There's 20, 30 contracts right there. I'm in, and I see where the trade can go, and it's going to get there. Now there's today. Slightly different. Today you have something different in the market. What do you have today that you didn't have yesterday? You have a gap up instead of a gap down, and you're at the moving averages. You're now way off of the moving averages. So we're in an extremely expanded state, and I actually went long on this first candle basically at one point in the day, and that doesn't really matter about that trade. It was just like it went strong. I took a one and done in Tesla, and then sold wherever the fib told me to sell. Yeah, there's your 168. And I said at the open that I thought Tesla was first going to go to 187 and then 191. Tesla did hit 187, which is where I sold my opening thing for my opening contracts. And then it didn't go to 161, but I was watching it. We got the Fed, Bullard started talking, and then we got kind of, the market went into a bear sell-off. VWAP trades are really good. It's one of my favorite too. Yeah, we got bullarded. But I want to show you something, because this is part of the thing that's hard for new traders, in my opinion, and it's hard for me too. Yesterday, look what Tesla did. Look how it just ran up. Like, you saw this same kind of pattern where we pull down, we hit VWAP, and I'm pretty sure I took this trade here, and I sold something in here. I think I sold some, and then it came back down, and I got stopped out of the second half. But you have this pattern, and what's the difference here than what it does yesterday? It doesn't follow through. Now, granted, the Fed started talking, but it didn't continue to go. It's still a good trade and a good setup with a good plan. You're buying on a moving average, or VWAP as it is here. Same thing here. It's hammering down. You're expecting it to go. The rest of the market is showing weakness. Tesla is showing strength. We pull into the 21. The only thing that you really have against you is you're in an expanded state. You're not in a tight state expanding like we were yesterday, where you're tight and then you're coming back into it outside of your box. You're way off of your box. You're way off of your moving average. This counts as one leg. This counts as two legs. So are we going to put in a third leg? Obviously, we don't. We go up and we fail. And I scalp some of this, and then I scalp some of this, and we were live on the mic talking about this short. So there were opportunities, but you have to take into consideration what all is happening. And when we say, what does that mean? Bullard is, so I don't know if you're in the T3 room, but Bullard is one of the Fed members, and he was talking, had an interview or whatever it is, his just comments like Jerome Powell does, and he's very, hey, what up, Graf? He's very hawkish. And he basically came out saying that, like, hey, if things are going good, we're just going to have to keep, increasing the rates. And then market had good news coming out of like higher home sales and all this other stuff. So that basically just confirms to the market that there's going to be a lot more, hikes and all this other stuff. That's my thought on it. That's kind of what JR said. So it's just the Fed talking. And he kind of killed our rally. So you have to take into like all market considerations into these plays on what's happening, what's overall going on. And it's hard for a new trader to do. So it's important to practice consistency. It's important to have a set of rules. And let's say you took this yesterday over, my face is in the way. Let's say you saw this happening over here and you bought this pull down and this, and you're like, man, it's just going to run all the way up just like it did. And you think that same thing today, even though we're in a bit more of an expanded state, you think the same thing, like, man, this is going to go just like it did yesterday. We're going to hit. I mean, I had a decent number of contracts. So if it would have hit, I would have been done right here. It didn't hit. I protected myself and I was fine because I sold. It came into VWAP. It was a beautiful trade. We called this out. We took it here, and then I sold some into day highs, and then it did this, and then I got out, and I think I probably got back in it a couple of times, and I scalped around here, and I didn't do much, and I just left it alone and hit the 21, and the Fed was talking, and it messed it up. What up, Ralph? Different when you trade in the morning, and what I've noticed in trading a cash in a cash account and stuff and practicing, I still have my other one and I'm doing them, but when you're trading in the cash account, when you're trading in an account where you have limited funds and limited ability to make trades, it's important to identify where and how much your risk reward is and to take some off early. And even if you're having a hard time, like Anya and some of you are talking about you're selling too early. Dari, you're saying you're selling too early. Like in this Tesla short here. Look at this Tesla short and look at this fib. So we have a Tesla short. We took this short and what did we say? And we took it. Why not sell half? Why not sell 3/4? Why not leave one contract? I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I'm saying if you're struggling and you're having a hard time identifying the stuff and identifying a trade that you can take to target, or let's say you have an extended target. So let's say you fib this. And you took a trade and you know what the target is, but you're green on the trade, take all risk out of the trade by getting out of 80% of your contracts, taking your C strategy. And so the original C strategies were not as hyper scalpy. They became that, and we did that through evolution of how the market was going, where we're still evolving. And what happened really in that was everything happened with Mark, and that's where it stopped. And we stopped at a hyper scalp point within those strategies. Early on, it really wasn't that, and they're not always that. And they evolved, and we used 2 minutes, and we use different things. So all strategies are evolving. And you evolve as a trader to find how and when you can take them, and you can incorporate other things into your trade. So yesterday, the compressed state in Tesla early, the igniting sequence that just looks incredibly bullish. And if you're looking at this on the 2 minute chart and you're looking at yesterday's morning, like you really can't go wrong on this. So if we're looking at C strategies here, let's just look at C strategies. If we look at C strategies within the C strategy format, here's your first. So here you go. Granted, you're gap down, so it's a little sus, but we're going strong. This is your first Mark 1 here. Now it's in some moving averages, so it's sus, breaks a few rules above the first 2 minute. So we have a bullish sequence. Here's your first inside bar breakout. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. And the strategy is just a breakthrough day highs and a go. So you just sell into the 1 minute 200 or whatever it is, and you take some profit. You wait for your next setup. Here's your next setup. Here's your next 1 minute inside. It goes up. You sell some through here. Maybe you get stopped out. Maybe you don't. But, there's your next, there's your next quick scalp. You wait. It pulls back down. You don't buy on this 8 because there's no trigger. Here's your 21. Here's your trigger. It never broke the 21, so you shouldn't get shaken out. There's your breakout, your active sequence. So we're in the middle of an active sequence where C strategies, simple, easy, effective strategies, Mark 1s, know your limit 8s, which the video I have coming out soon is going to describe these and how I trade them and what I view them as and like how what I do. But looking on a 1 minute chart, if it doesn't break the bottom of that candle, or you're kind of, buy point, take enough size to where you can give it a little bit of room, and there you go. There's your active sequence through your previous day high. And now you come back in. Look what happens when you finally tag the 8. You chop around, you're in the middle of a flag for a little bit. I think if we went to the 2 minute chart on this, we'd probably have a different, what am I looking at, 559. What am I at? Yeah, you're just flagging out. You're fine on a 2 minute chart. So it gets a little bit choppy on a 1 minute chart. Maybe you don't trade the 1 minute chart because we're kind of extended there, and you look at the 2 minute chart and you wait for it to come in and you buy a 2 minute breakout. So usually if I buy a 1 minute breakout and it doesn't work, so this actually kind of works here. You have your next mark 1 after igniting candle, next mark 1. So if you want to scalp that, you can. And then you wait for it to come into the 8. I'm not sure if it actually hit the 8 or it leaned in. You might take that and get 1 chopped out. So you say, hey, I need to wait for a 2 minute breakout because that didn't work. Here's an actual full 8 test and a 2 minute breakout that now happens. You're still in that active bull sequence. So you can still find an active sequence to trade that is working because the triggers, especially on a 2 minute setup, something that is, something that's digesting, and these 2 minute breakouts are actually working, or 5 minute breakouts are working, and it's going towards a target that you can clearly identify and see. So if you fib this and you're like, hey, I know this is the trade. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an out of the contract money, an out of the contract option that is not, as volatile, or next week's options that are out of the contract. I'm not going to make much, but I'm going to take 1 or 2 to practice the hold to target because I see this bullish sequence and I think this is very good. So I want to hold to the 127 of this first leg. So I'm going to do that. But I might also want to hyper scalp it because I'm used to doing that, or I want to take profits off. And you can still do that. You have to develop yourself and what you feel comfortable doing and what your success is in. And then, I'll delete this. And then you come into today and you reevaluate where you're at in the morning. What did I say that I was going to do in the morning on the morning show with the best intro in the world done by Andrew? I said, we're gapping up. We're near resistance. We're going to see what's going to happen. If we start, going up early and we show some relative strength, I'm going to take it early. I'm going to take it long into 187, and I'm going to sell some, or 287, sorry, in Tesla, and I'm going to sell some. And then I think it could get to 291 would be my final target on the day. What was going to happen? For intents and purposes, it didn't hit my final target, but I made here. Lost a little bit in here, made it back, and then waited. And I told you guys, I'm not really trading now, guys. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for something. And then we waited, and there were other trades I didn't take. And I took a few, and then there was this one. And I think I shorted Meta in there too, and I shorted the Qs. So, but what can you see here? Oh, we're in an expanded state. It's the morning. We're near resistance. Okay, we put in an igniting sequence. We're in an igniting sequence. But what happens? Do we really... Where's that? Where did I draw this line? Oh, here we go. You can draw your first fib, or you do whatever you're going to do. It's like, okay, off the 200, we hit that level. What are we doing when we pull into VWAP? Oh, right, we broke through highs. All right, now we're chopping. It's like in here, if you're not going to go, you can just wait for the igniting sequence, or you can know instantly like, hey, this isn't the same as yesterday. What happened? Fed Bullard was talking. Like he, starts talking hawkish. The market starts dumping. It's like, yeah, Tesla's holding up, but the market's not catching a bid. I need to hold off or look for names to short. And I think I shorted Meta, or short the Qs. And you have to take that stuff into consideration when you're doing. You can't just blindly trade every day like it's the same. Tesla's not going to run up 13 points every single morning. And to the day before when it just went down and it just did this, or a couple days before, it's not going to do that every single day. Then look at all this. So it's not just going to do this all the time and this all the time, and then chop around. Look how much it chops around compares to how much it runs. It just, does that chop, and then we gap up. So, we open up here at the, what did I just do? was looking at the wrong thing. And then, we open up, gapped up, and it's like, oh, well, we're going to have less conviction today. And it is what it is. So I need to identify we're expanded, we're not expanded, we're near this, we're igniting. All right, we're in an igniting sequence. I'm going to trade this igniting sequence for a little bit of a move, and then I'm going to trade it a little bit smaller, or I'm going to get out of it, and it might not work. Oh, negative Fed market news coming on. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to scalp every 1 minute breakout. Even in this igniting sequence, if you go to a 1 minute, yeah, here's your sign that it's not super strong. Usually your first Mark 1 on an igniting active sequence, it's going to get you there. Your first Mark 1 works for a lot more. So usually this gets you more. But you're so expanded, I don't know that you're going to get that on a move like this. So you come in near VWAP, and then your next breakout pushes you higher, but then you just kind of instantly come down. And I mean, you could have held some of this. I think I held a runner in a lot of this because I was in down here. But you've identified basically right here that this is not incredibly a strong bullish sequence. It's just not, because every trigger is not pushing us into the next level. It's like, oh, hey, we have an igniting sequence. We're going up. Oh, here's your first Mark 1. Oh, dang, that didn't really work. All right, we came in, we hit VWAP. Man, we're not really working. We hit the 8. The 8 triggered, and we're not going up. This is not the same as yesterday. Once you have an igniting sequence that begins to fail on short time triggers, and then you go to larger time frame triggers, and your red takes green isn't pushing you higher, and VWAP hits, and it rips up, and just instantly no follow through on that second candle. Through this igniting candle should have gone higher. That's basically a hands off at that point for trading it like you traded it the day when it broke out, and you just identify, like, all right, chop zone. What do I need to trade again? What do I need to look for? Where's my safe entries in this trade? What is the sequence that is taking place, and when can I get it? And maybe you miss some of this, maybe you don't. You're kind of grinding up here. Maybe you wait for the breakdown. I don't know what's going to happen. The market's bearish. I'm going to try some Tesla long. I think it's really good. I think it could go if the market rallies. We're going to wait. Or then when it starts, what did I do? Or when it starts breaking down, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, all right, so we have this nice down move. We failed. We broke down. There's my fib. And this is why I was talking about this. We're just bear flagging here. Let's wait for it to trigger. It triggers. I mean, you could have taken it up here and you would have been fine, but you probably get shaken out. Excuse me. Tired. You probably get shaken out. But as it breaks down, as we were talking through this, you have your goal, you have your target, you're out. And I mean, you could have continued to play this down because now we're in an active bearish sequence. And what happens when we get in this active sequence? Well, let's look at what's happening on the 1 minute. Let's see what C strategies are setting up and playing. And for your C strategies, you're below the first 2 minute low now. Once you break below S1, you're within C strategy territories for your shorts. So what's happening? In the story of everything, we failed to go higher, we pushed up, we broke down, we flushed the 200. We came up, we flushed the 200. The 200 on the 1 minute didn't even stop us. We flushed down. All right, here is your first Mark 1 short. You have an active sequence. Well, technically not, but we're going to say this is an active sequence. We broke down. This is day lows, so, whatever, picky. You're in an active bear sequence. Here's your first inside candle right here. You have an igniting sequence to the downside on increased volume, obviously a sell setup. You have an inside 1 minute candle that did not break the previous candle's low. That next candle takes you lower by almost 60 cents. I guarantee you that's 30 cents on most options. Just on this 1 minute candle. You then flag out 85. This one breaks day low, so this candle also breaks low, so this isn't a Mark 1. This candle is your next Mark 1 here. It does not test the 8, so breaks low, breaks lower. This is your next Mark 1. You're in an active sequence. The 1 minute works when you're in this active sell sequence. Here's your Mark 1. Now, yeah, if you front ran these, you probably get tagged out, but this is your next actual trade. And look what that does. That is almost a 1 point, a little bit less than a 1 point move on this candle. So identifying when you're in the active sequence and when you're in a consolidation sequence or a compression and you're waiting for that breakout, once that breakout comes and you're in this, the 1 minute triggers work. The 2 minute triggers work, or the target works on the fib. When you're in a consolidation or a choppy range, or the market's doing one thing and your stock's doing another, it can be different. So it's important to identify that kind of early, trusting your plan and creating a plan that's like, even in the middle of the day, I'm like, well, I'm waiting for this to happen. Like here in Tesla on the 1 minute, I'm waiting for the 1 minute 21 to test, and then I'm going to short it with a stop above that candle. Blah, 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 blah. Boop. All right, I'm short. Or you could say you're short on the breakdown, whatever. So you'd be short here, it doesn't matter. You could say you're just short off the test when it fails. You know, you probably break even to losing or red right around here. And then eventually it goes down. It's just chopping around. You have your proper risk management in place. You have your proper size. You understand what you're looking for. You understand that this is a sell setup on the 1 and the 2 minute. And you're just waiting for that breakdown to take place or for you to get shaken out. And, you know, you could have your stop at VWAP if you wanted a wide stop and you didn't want to go too heavy. Or you could just have your stop above the, you know, the candle you entered on. It could be whatever. You need to put that in based on your criteria for a trade. And let me make sure I'm not missing some comments. Yeah, and C strategies aren't bad or right. It's just identifying where you're at in a move and taking them. I mean, they work. You just can't take every 1 minute breakout. It's not a C strategy. This is a C strategy on the 1 minute. And then as soon as one doesn't work, it's not a C strategy, you know. You're already down here. I wouldn't be doing these. Once you get to the 8, you're past your extension and your mark. I actually haven't watched I haven't watched all of Velez's stuff. I need to. I've only watched like one of his videos. I will check his stuff out, Con. I should at some point. I know I have no doubt he has some really awesome stuff. So definitely worth checking him out. I think he has a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, it is how Kelly trades. That is kind of what Kelly does. So whether you're, hang on, when you're active, I'll answer the meta question in a minute. When you're active, you know, when you're in an active sequence, they work, and they work for scalping. When you're just in this range, you're just going to get shaken out by all these 1 minute candles. I mean, look at this in Tesla. Like, you really want to be doing this? This is an active sequence. You're not breaking out. You're not making new highs. Well, there's no C strategy in here. This is just you buying 1 minute breakouts. You know, C strategies work within an active breakout sequence, and you can use fibs and you can use these boxes to let you know where you're at. You know, if you go back to yesterday and you look at the open here, this is a clear bullish sequence with a clear buy setup to a clear target. Here, you have the same thing, but you're so expanded, and then negative market news comes out. Now you're in a chop. Tesla's strong name is fighting off negative news. We eventually fail and break down with the market. We get onto a sell setup. We take the sell setup, and now it's a reversal, and now you're shorting things back to at least to fill the gap. So you're probably going to fill the gap, if not more. And then I leave because I'm not here at the end of the day, and now we're kind of back up here, probably somewhere around the 50% retracement of all of that. And so doing things back to the original point, trading early in a cash account, there's some different types of trades. I love them, but there's the foundation of the C strategy type stuff, the scalp, the day trade, things that you are just looking for a quick 30 cents on. You know, I was on yesterday afternoon on the mic when I got back from jiu-jitsu, and we talked about like I was just scalping like 5-10 cents here and there, and I was just doing hyper scalps because I saw a range and I just traded the range. And then there's day trades. There's like, you know, I think this is going to here and these things are setting up. I'm doing this and I'm giving it whatever time to get there. There's measured move trades. There's There's trades that are more following a pattern and giving you buy setups with low risk within a move, which to me is what C strategies do. It gives you a point, especially as a new trader, somebody who's new to this, it gives you an easy, identifiable way to look at a chart and be like, we're in an active sequence, we're breaking out, when can I buy? And adding a layer on top of that when you get there, looking at things like supply and demand zones, using fibs, you can get targets to let you know where that active sequence of sell or buy is going to. So you know it's going here. You just don't want to get caught in like one of these pops. You don't want to be buying at the wrong time. So you want to be waiting for something to tell you to buy. So you're waiting for that setup to take place. Like if you see all this happening, you're like, oh man, I just want to get in Tesla. I just want to get in. And you don't, and you buy at the wrong times, and you buy like, down here. He's like, man, I missed all this. I'm going to buy right here. And it pops back up, and then you sell, and then it goes back down, and whatever it is. You can actually you don't reuse it. It's just easy to look at it and be like, oh, hey, we're not, this isn't working. I need to go to the next one. I need to go to the next one, meaning, Mark 1, know your limit 8, know your limit 21, different time frame, 2 minute, 5 minute. And we're looking for the consolidation. We're looking for these different things. But the simplest way to do it is have a strategy and understand where you're at and what's happening in the market. Today, we were hesitant, we were strong, and then we realized what was happening, and we were like, okay, we're leaving this alone. And I'm just using Tesla as an example. You can do this with Apple. You can do this with any name you want to. You can do this with Facebook, Meta. Meta was weak when the market was strong, so I liked Meta short. I took Meta short here off this 21. So this is like a trade I would take on a cash account. I would do this probably 9 times out of 10. Here is your Meta. Hit the 21. I took it short around the 21, and I sold most of it here. And I had a 25% runner, which I got stopped out on. And then this stuff happens, and then this happens. I think I actually shorted over here. I didn't call this one out, but I know that I shorted here. I sold some here, and I held some to here. Because I think that was my target for the double bottom on the day, and that move, yeah, and then I sold some there. And I missed all this because I went to put my kids down, and it just continued to go down. I think I shorted the Qs later. So there are ways, and just descending tops line here and stuff that I drew in. There are ways you can put that stuff in that allows you to even take profits in a small cash account to identify the price action in the market, to identify what is happening, to zoom out and pay attention, and then you just have to trust the strategies that you're taking and be like, I'm going to take it. If you're like, I don't like doing stuff like this, I want it to feel a certain way, then you just have to know what that is, and you have to take it. It can't be what I do. It can't be what JR does. It can't be what CT does or Peacock or Rose or anybody else. It has to be what you feel really comfortable with and you trust. And if it doesn't come, you're like, it'll come tomorrow. Or I'm going to find a different name. I'm going to find something that I like. I love these setups. I love bear flags and stuff when it comes up into the 21 and it halts and you get your sell set up, and always taking some at the line and then holding a little bit of a runner. And target was down here. It didn't hit. It went back up. And I think JR called Apple short. Here's another one we took today. JR called Apple short here. Here's your hammer. This is the 1 minute. Let's go to the 2 minute. I took Apple short here. JR called it short. We were talking about some other stuff, so I don't think I called this one on the mic. I was typing in the VTF, but we had this here as the market was going down. And I think that's why I took this one. And I gave it some room. So you have this, comes back up to the 38% retracement, goes down, sell some here, hold a little bit of the chop, and then you go down, you hit target. I think I said in the VTF target was 150.102, and then you could also have had a 150.32, and both those hit. So there are ways, if you're going to sit here, to identify this stuff. Early in the morning, like even in Apple here, you need to identify the relative strength or weakness. If you're going to play it aggressive early, which you don't have to, you just have to do it. You just have to be like, hey, I'm going to do it. I understand the risk reward. I'm sizing down. I'm going to play a little bit of it aggressive early. And then I'm going to wait. I'm going to find a pattern that I like. You know what pattern I might not like? I might not like if I took a Tesla trade and like this today and it went up and then it failed a Mark 1 and then it hit VWAP in it and it kind of broke higher, but it really failed to run. And then we chopped around and we hit VWAP again and we pumped up and we just reversed. So I don't really like that. I don't. It should have went. You know what I like? I'm going to ignore Tesla because what should have happened on a good bull run was this. It pulled in, it hit my moving average, and it just ripped, and it went right, not ripped, but it basically just, boom, 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 and it went to my target, and I got my stuff. And if it's going to do this, and you're not comfortable with it, don't trade it. Identify early in the first or like 1 minute failed setup, or you've had 3 or 4 C strategies that have failed. Don't keep giving your money back, chopping away stuff early. Wait. Find the one that's working. If you're like, hey, this is just chop fest, I'm going to wait. I could sit here for the next hour and I didn't trade much at all through here. 2 or 3 trades, and I just wait for this to set up and we call this one short and we take that. There you go. That's my day. That made my day. Waiting for the Qs to do the same thing, waiting for that Apple call to fail. Those 3 trades were the majority of my money on the day. And you can do that. You just have to decide how you want to trade as a trader. Do you want the aggressive early setup? Do you have time to sit here all day? Do you have the discipline to not take the trades and wait for an active sequence to set up? Then when we're within an active sequence, do you want to trade something to target, or are you looking to well, what are you looking to do? Like, how are you looking to trade it? Because to be honest, if you're just looking at Tesla here and you take this out and you want to Monday morning quarterback it and you saw this candle when it was thick red down here, you might buy it short right here. And then look what happens. You're going to get whipped up and you're going to get out. And then you're like, oh, it might go now. Look at this trigger going. And you're like, oh, no, it didn't do it. So I took another 30-cent loss here. Oh, it's going. It didn't break down, so I'm going to get back in here. And, you can't do that. You have to have strategies that give you safe entries with nice futures. I'm not even watching the futures market right now. Nice. Yeah. I mean, we're going down. And to answer the question, sorry about Tesla. I apologize for missing that. Let's see. Meta. I don't know. I think Meta's going down about like 122 in the short term. If not lower. Let's go to the daily. I mean, you're looking at in Meta, this pivot is 137.10 is the low, and we're below that now. So where is your next one at? Like 129, 122? I have a lot of support at 122.50. At 122.50, I probably take a swing long. I mean, if you look left here on the daily, my face is in the way. You have a lot over here. You have a lot down here, which matches up. So I don't know if Meta's going to capitulate. I know down around that 120 area, I'll be a long-term. I might take a swing trade for a move just because of how oversold it is. But it's a really weak name. And, I don't know that people believe, 122.51. I don't know how much people believe in the metaverse and all that kind of stuff. But you're going back to like 2017, 2016 levels. So you're erasing in Meta right now, years of money. So a name that was just going up and doing all this, like you're literally going back to 2019, 2016 in this name. So I'm sure it's going to catch a bounce somewhere. And I'm waiting for it to get down. Whether or not it does, I guess you could say you might have some support beforehand at like 27. But definitely 22.51 is like a hard area, and I'd be looking for the swing there. I mean, you're looking at the weekly chart now, and it's just steady going down. You flagged. Where's the measured move? I'd have to draw a measured move on the weekly here, but I imagine you're close to it. So I'd watch for support to come into Meta especially if we get a few more down days and a sell-off at the 25 to 22 area, and then we'll see what happens there. Once we get into the zone of the supply zone here from the 2017, it's crazy to think, 2017 area. Let's see if we catch a bounce at that area between 24 and 15, and then watch for the bounce. If I was a long-term buyer swinging, that's where I'd be having my sight set at. And then if you break that, I mean, I don't know, who knows at that point if the market just wants to, if it just wants to drag. It's definitely not a strong name, but it's gone down so much from, poor people that own this thing at $383. When you give Dari, when you give the room, for me it's different, and it's got to be for you. So I don't mind like saying, but it's different, and I try to say what my stops are when I have them. So if I actually have a stop, I try to say, like, I'm going to do the stop at the 21. So it's kind of, it changes generally based on how I'm doing in the day and how aggressive the name is. And like, if I'm in an active Tesla sequence, I know what it should do. So for instance, if I am taking, and this is why I try to talk through it. Let's go to the 1 minute here. If I'm taking this Mark 1, I'm taking this Mark 1, and it needs to go through day highs and continue. If it goes through day highs and goes down, I'm selling. My stop isn't down here. But if I enter, let's say this candle happens, and I enter at the bottom of this candle, or like let's say this is happening. I wouldn't take this necessarily, but let's say that this is chopping around, and I take it as soon as this candle opens. I would give it probably to below this candle. Like I would say, hey, let's let it come in. I wouldn't take this here. This isn't the greatest example, but I would say, okay, I'm going to give it to the bottom of this candle, or I'm going to give it to like, I would say it could test a VWAP. So if it breaks this previous candle low, I'm out, and I'll re-enter at VWAP. I'm doing this with small size. So in an active sequence, that would be that. And then it breaks through day highs and it just fails, comes back into this candle, I'm out. Whether I'm flat, green, red, whatever, it can't do that. It's like this is supposed to be an active sequence. What is an active sequence supposed to do in the way I want to trade it? I want it to do this and then come in. It's not. It did this and then went down. If I'm entering as soon as this candle opens, because I think this candle is going to take it out because this happened yesterday or something, I'm going to take it, and just based on where everything is, I say, okay, I'm taking this trade, understanding that if it fails this previous low of 85.91, it's going to test VWAP. So I'm just going to watch it. I enter as soon as it opens. If it drops below 85, let's just say 85, and 91 is the thing. So the prints go below 85.85. I'm going to get out, lose 10, 20 cents. So I need to take that into the contract size I'm going to take. I'm going to lose 10 cents, 20 cents. I'm going to take that, and then it goes up, and then maybe I take some off, maybe I don't. It's up to you on how you trade. And then it does this. I'm going to get out, and then over here, it's like, same thing. Let's say you enter on this candle. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to give it to below VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, I think it's going to test the 8, but I'm going to enter, this candle's red, I'm going to enter at the opening of this candle as soon as it catches a bit or it stops going down, and my stop's going to be below VWAP, so I'm going to give it that little bit of room. In an active sequence, I would do something like that if I'm hyper scalping these. And I'd be like, all right, so a candle closed, I'm going to look at the entrance of the next candle. We start catching a bid, I'm in. All right, we break out, we go, nice, we're through day highs. I might take a little bit off, depending on the day, circumstances, we're expanded. I might do that today. I don't know what I did. I did actually, because I called this one out. This was one of the ones we called in the room. So I take some off here, and then boom, this happens. I'm like, oh, this should not have happened. This is not good for our active sequence. You know what? I'm going to sell the rest if this candle breaks lower. The next candle goes, breaks lower, I'm out. It can be that tight. Or it could be something like that happened later in the day when we caught what I was just talking about in Tesla short that we caught when we talked about this trade. And let's say I take this one and I say, you know what? I see it hit the 1 minute 21. I'm in because it started to hammer out. I'm going to set my stop. Depending on the size I take, I'm going to set my stop above a candle to close above the 1 minute 21. That's going to be my stop. And then I just let all this happen and it goes down. So you have to develop that based on the size that you take. Now you need a hard stop, but you have to define the hard stop. Usually if I'm hyper scalping, it's a candle I got in on. I'm watching that candle to go higher. If it's a swing trade or it's a fib move, on a fib move, the hard stop on something like this to me would be the 68% retracement. So if I got in here or I got in here, my hard stop would be above that 38% retracement. And I'd say, hey, if it breaks that 38% retracement, I'm out. I'm in it here. I need to incorporate that much loss into my trade because it hit that 38% and broke down. My assumption is we're staying below that, and I'm going to use the moving averages as my entries. That's my low. That's how I reduce risk during the day. I wait for the setup I want and I let other stuff go, and then I take it. So it's based on a lot of those things. Huge red candles on the futures, nice. So actually it's kind of annoying because Meta's going to open up where I just said tomorrow down to like 92, and I'm not going to be able to short it. I mean, if we gap down a ton, we'll just see how it opens up tomorrow. It'll be an interesting day. If we open up way down tomorrow, it'll be a lot of, I don't know. All the gap downs get bought up, and then the gap ups get sold off. So we'll just see where we open up tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. I mean, a day trade. I mean, none of us do day trading here, really. A day trade would be like, to me, I mean, day trading, like a scalp. A scalp, to me, if I was going to identify it, is I'm looking for a Mark 1. Let's go to yesterday. No, I'm not going to do yesterday because I don't remember what I did. Let's do, like a scalp would be like, I'm taking this Mark 1 short and I'm going to get out right away. This is not a day trade, but I should say a targeted trade. So let's say a trade with a larger target. I'd say there's multiple types of the trade, but there's tradings with larger targets and smaller targets. You really don't have to think, what Khan said, I think is right. A scalp is a 1 bar move. If I'm scalping something, I am trading within a single 1 minute bar to 2 minute bar. A targeted trade or a day trade, I don't like the term day trade, but a day trade, something that I have a larger target, is not based on the amount of bars that it takes to get there, but the target I have. So like, let's say I bought here because I was waiting for the 1 minute 8 test or the 38% retracement of this leg. I bought the 1 minute sell here. This is how much time. This right now is 11:35, and I go here. This is 11:52. So it doesn't hit my target. It doesn't hit my target until 11:56. 11:52. So almost 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes to get there. That's not a scalp per se. Now, people who trade weeklies and they're like, well, I hold for 6 months, so that is a scalp. Context, people. For someone, in this room, what I'm talking about, a scalp is a 1 candle trade, a 30-second trade. A day trade, what we define as that, or a measured move, or a fib trade, something with a target is a day trade. It's something that has a target, not a candle length to get there. It's a measured move, yeah. You actually have a target you're looking for, not a time frame. And so it could take all day to get there, as long as it doesn't break my rules for getting me out of the trade and I take profit intelligently along the way, I'm good. And someone said that Oliver Velez has a good video on taking profit. And it's probably worth checking out. Taking profits like a professional. JR talks about it absolutely all the time. I believe in it 100%. I tell you guys I'm taking profits all the time.
I'm not holding 100 contracts, 200 contracts at target. I'm in something and I take profit, and then I have a much microed compared 50% or less to the actual target because I lock in a guaranteed win early. And then it's like, oh, you're a good trader because you allow your target to hit. Well, I'm not a good trader because I allow that to hit. I think it's pretty easy to notice a clear fib line and throw it up and have a target. But what's hard is getting that risk off early. So in a trade like this, let's say it comes down here, you know, or even down here, and you sell half of it, and then you don't get shaken out of all this because it never breaks your rule of going up here, you know, then you hold the rest at target. You know, there are ways to do that. You just have to develop yourself slowly into that, which you don't have to do. You can't just be like, hey, I just want to trade active sequences. So all I want is the Mark 1 here and the Mark 1 here, or the Know Your Limit 8 here, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one candle setups to get me 30 cents. That's fine. Just know the difference and don't mix up the two. You got to know what you want to trade. If all you want to do is wait for that, you had it here in Tesla. You had one of them here in Tesla. You know, you had two of them. But the problem is that if your active sequence doesn't continue like this, like notice the difference. Oh, dang it. Darn it. Notice the difference in this, what happened and what happened the other day. And this is what I'm mainly saying. You know, look at what your Mark 1 did on, look at what your Mark 1 did on Monday as opposed to what it did today. Look at what your 21 and 8 did on Monday as opposed to what it did today. Once this isn't happening and you're looking for one candle, two candle trades for violent moves, you know, you're just buying the tops of these breakouts. Once you're not getting bars that go through, you can't, like, you have to stop fast or you're going to give your day up, you know, or size down. Because if you're trying to buy every 1 minute breakout in here, you've given back most of your day before something happens and you get shaken out here as it breaks out and goes down. You lose everything that you made, and then you're pissed off and you're toxic and who knows what happens because Tesla should be going up and it's not, and it did yesterday, instead of just waiting for clear defined trades and legs. And so, you know, I hope that kind of answers the question, along with a little bit of a rant that's not necessarily important. From what leg break? Robert, you talking about today's leg break or yesterday? So today, the target from the break on the short, your initial target is always the 100% mark. Although here, you know, so the S1 basically it was 120. It was 283.36 was your first target, and then your way extended target, which would have been fine here because you failed to break higher. You could say I think it's going lower, but that S1 would have been R1. Sorry, would have been your first target, and then you can see other targets here. But there are more moves in this sequence. You know, you have a move here. Depending on how you draw this, you pull back up into the 8, you break down, you sell some of the 100%, and then here's your 127. So, you know, you could do things like that. I do stuff like that. Like, look, I had one leg down. I'll draw another leg. I'll be like, oh, hey, here's another leg. So let's see what happens. All right, we break down. Where's my short-term target? My short-term target is going to be, so you can do this on a short frame. If you're looking for like 1 minute, you see this kind of congestion here, you can do something like this, and you can just be like, okay, I'm going to I'm going to buy a sell setup when it comes, and this is going to be my target, and then this is the extended target. Or you can do it, you know, that's a shorter time frame. You know, this is why drawing fibs and using measured moves is kind of an artwork. So if you do this, you're like, hey, look, one leg. It kind of popped up. I'm just going to throw this down, and then it comes down. Oh, look, hey, it hit. All right, let's measure this move. So let's take this move in, and let's do this. I'll do stuff like this sometimes. Let's look. All right, we pull back in. We're 50% of the last move. We hit the 8. Let's buy the sell setup on the 8. Put our stop above, and your hard stop, and there's your 100%. So you take profit, and it doesn't matter. Chops around a little bit, and then it goes to target. You know, that's an acceptable way to do this. When I'm in an active sell sequence, I do stuff like this. I just throw up a short line, or you can just do a hard line. You can do that original hard line and have those targets. You know, this is 1, 2, and 3. A little bit of capitulation at bottom. We bottomed out, and then we kind of chopped around, flagged out, did our little thing, whatever, I don't know. And so That's kind of how I use what I'm looking at early to identify things early, and I hope that part of the video made sense. Not maybe I can make sense later. Obviously not tonight. And then waiting for later in the day when you get those like clear moves that are happening, like JR is talking about a breakdown, Gator's talking about a breakdown. We have an active sequence. What happened so far on the day? We gapped up. We did all this. We failed to break. We failed to go higher. All right, what happened after we failed to go higher? The Fed started coming out. The market is negative. The market is going down. Tesla flagged. It broke down. We're now below the gap up. What's going to happen? We're going to feel the stinking gap is what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? All right, well, okay. Well, yeah, but I don't know when to buy. What if I get shaken out? What happens? Okay, how do you buy to fill the gap? Where's the gap? You could say the gap would be down here. Let's just say we fill the gap from this price action. So we're here, like we're just going to fill this gap, which is just below this 180 line. So, you're in this active scene. All right, we're flowing down. All right, we flag down. Let's buy the next 2-minute breakdown. Let's put a stop up here. Let's wait 1 minute. Take it. Goes down. Even if you take it here, like I'm going to put a stop up here. I'm going to take this short on the next candle that doesn't close higher. There you go. We're going to fill the gap. All right, so let's say you miss this. You're like, I don't know when to get in. What's going to happen? Let's wait for a moving average to test on the 2-minute. The moving average tested. Let's draw a fib line on this last move. Since we have a clear defined move and we have a few candles going up, let's just throw a fib line here, and let's say we haven't filled the gap yet. We still have a little bit of room to fill the gap. What trade could I look for? Let's wait for an 8 test or a 21 test. All right, so that hit. That was 50% retracement of this last move. Let's see what's going to happen here. If it takes a sell setup, I'm going to take it with a stop up here. All right, so I'm going to do that. This works. Like at one point, if you took this, you'd probably be red or flat, depending on where you got in it at. But I got in it, and it goes, and then we hit our 100%, so we take some off. We hold the chop because it hasn't gone back up here to get us out of the trade, or you could say break above the 8, and we go down and we hit target. And now we filled the gap. So now I learned how to trade part of that fill the gap. I missed all this move, and I still made money because I recognized we're probably going to fill the gap. And all I have to do is find out how I'm going to get in and when I'm going to get in to allow myself to make that longer move. If all you want to do is hyper scalp it, that's fine. I like to do the longer stuff, or a mix of both sometimes, which can be dangerous, or it can be fun. So it's just about putting that stuff together and learning to see it yourself. The more you see it, the more you can. The more you see it, the better. The more you see it, the more you can do it. And then you're telling me where the moves are going to happen at. And then you're making me money because you're like, hey, this is happening. I'm like, oh, let me see. Oh, dang, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to take some calls there. I'm like, thank you for the tacos. Yeah, basically what Khan's saying. Take half, then look for 3 pushes, then let the market take your runner. And generally, like what Jess is saying, what Khan is saying, is what I do. Like you guys here, like, oh, all right, guys, I'm out like half. I'm out 75%. I might have 30, 40 contracts of something, and I'm out 20, 30 contracts, and I've got 10 left. So I made, let's say a stock pops 30, 40 cents. And let's say you had 30 contracts. All right, so a stock pops 30 cents. I sell 20 contracts. That is, now I have an $800 to $1,000 win, and I have 10 contracts left. And if the stock goes to my target, I'm probably going to make another $1,000. So it's a $2,000 trade, and I'm using. You could do $100. It doesn't matter. Use whatever number. I'm just using those numbers, and you instantly take the risk off, and then you have that letting the market go, that active sequence pushing you to your final target, and then you get paid on a smaller amount, but there's no toxicity, and it's easier to hold because you're not thinking about money. I think he uses the 2 and the 5. Sometimes he probably uses the 1 minute, Robert. I really don't know. I'd have to ask him, or I'd have to go back and watch the video I did with him to see what he says about it. Yeah. And yeah, generally after the entry bars. Nice, Con. So you did the Qs. Yeah, I traded the Qs short today and loved them. Like, I don't remember when I got in them. It might have been here. When did I go to the gym?
It was somewhere in here I took them short. I caught a lot of this. And that was this. Maybe I caught some of that. I think I traded Apple instead here. I took the Q short here and I took Apple short here. So what did you do? You took 948 bar. 948. Waited for 3 pushes. To the short side, I'm guessing? Yeah, so you did here. This is a great short. And this was Geronimo. I was doing something else. I should have shorted the Qs here. So you have these 3 pushes down, and then this. And this is a beautiful short. Even in the Qs, this is a textbook, like, you know, market news, pushing us down, into the 21, short. Like, this is just beautiful. It's all setups here. I didn't do any of that. Khan's a better trader than I am. I was like over here when I started trading stuff in the Qs. I just kind of sat still through all of this and waited and then just played this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, for surgical entries, Jay. I see that. I've kind of switched a little bit. I don't use the 1 minute very much, except for kind of the same. Like if I'm looking, like even stochastics, I use stochastics still. And when I use them, when I use the 1 minute, I'm looking for a lot of my stuff on the 2 and 5 minute. And then I'm using the 1 minute to kind of see where everything else is at. I'm using stochastics on the 1 and 2 minute to see where I'm at. Especially on longer trades and stuff, or when I'm trying to time entries perfectly to reduce risk based on the type of day I'm having and stuff, I wait for like indicators to set up for myself. But when it comes to generally speaking, I'm usually not hyper scalping off the 1 minute. But I am, but sometimes I'm not even watching candle bars. I'm just watching price action. Like I glance at my candle bars to understand what's happening, and I'm watching my level 2, and I quickly get levels off my charts, and I come back to my level 2, and I'm watching a lot of that as much as I am my charts early in the morning in the names I trade, and obviously I am watching charts. So any questions that you guys have? I mean, people have been asking questions, but I've been going for an hour. I don't want to rant too much. But I just want to talk a little bit about identifying morning trades and trading them and seeing what's happening and realizing the difference in yesterday when a buy setup worked and you got paid like crazy. I assume I didn't trade it. And then today where you're gapped up, you're overextended, you go up, there's negative market news, and your 1 minute didn't take you really high. Your 2 minute didn't take you and push for 2 to 3 candles. Really 2 to 3 candles on a time frame is what I look for as far as a 1 and a 2 minute. And you're not getting that. You're not getting any of that in the name you're trading. All right, if you are going to hyper scalp, meaning a 1 minute to 2 minute bar trade, you really need to cut that. And you need to identify that fast so you don't give back your day. If you're trading the measured moves, in a sense, the same thing. You can be like, I'm going to take some more risk off. We didn't push. I'm now going to take my size down. Instead of being in 50% of my contracts, I'm going to be in 10% of my contracts, 20% of my contracts. Because something has happened that's like, I don't know about this. And then I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to find what I want to trade. I'm going to find a name that I want to trade in a way that I want to trade it. And you're gonna let those things take place. And I've been practicing doing that in a cash account that I've been trying to grow for practice, because honestly, I'm not gonna do a 5K challenge and be sitting in here and be like, yeah, I'm so used to hyper scalping that I just blow myself out. So I'm really trying to focus in on trades I'm taking, when I'm taking, letting trades go to target, and different things like that to help me like mostly, grow an account. So when I do the 5K challenge, I'm not just losing. And it's like, yeah, I blew out the account. And then I do another one. I'm like, yeah, I blew out an account. And you're going live every day doing it. So I've been working on that a little bit and practicing that concept so I can do it. And it's one of the things I've noticed it before, but it's something I thought that was important to talk about on the show, and kind of identifying where you're at, what's happening in the morning, things you need to take into consideration, moves you need to see, room you need to give yourself, risk management, all that kind of fun stuff all plays in. But I hope it was helpful, guys. I really appreciate you all coming out. You guys are the best. I will see you all. I'm going to go get some sleep. So cheers to everybody. I hope you come in tomorrow. Let's trade smart and intelligent. I'll have a busy day tomorrow. I've got my kids by myself. Wife has a doctor's appointment. So
I will be on, but I will definitely not be as active as I was today. I'll be active early for probably about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and it's just me playing with my kids around the house all day, and I'll keep it open, try to come back after I put them to bed, and all that fun stuff. So you guys are the best. Love you guys. Leave a like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know what I'm doing. Obviously, the stuff in the video description has plenty of info for trading with me and the other amazing people in this room. If you want to, you can always click on that stuff. Is there anything else I'm supposed to like throw plugs into? I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, leave that stuff. Share it with your friends. We're at 600 subscribers. I'd love to get up to 1,000. I think that would be bomb. That would be legit. So, help me out. See you guys tomorrow morning in the VTF and in the Discord. Have a great rest of your evening.